what I have here is a size 16 Daiichi dry fly hook and A-dot thread, and we will attach our thread. And the first thing we will do is tie in our tail there. So what I have for the tail is some Antron yarn, and I'm just going to take a little part of that just to give it that trailing shuck look. So once we've got a little bunch there, we can tie that in. Just somewhere in the middle of the hook is fine. And just carefully try to roll that up on top of the hook, and we'll hold that as we tie that to the back. We can slide those butt ends in there a little tighter like that, and we'll tie that down all the way back to our tie-in point directly above the barb of the hook, and we can just trim that off to length. If we've got a few whiskers up here, we can trim those down. Alright, now the next thing we're going to do is use a turkey biot for the body. So we have a turkey feather here. We're going to use this side. You can use these a little softer for some things, but the best thing to do is just strip off one of these large pieces of a biot there. And when you do that, it should expose kind of a notched end, and so we're going to tie it in so the notch is facing to our right because we want a segmented look. You could flip it around and tie it so that notch is facing to our left, and it would be more of a smooth body, but I'm going to go with the segmented look. And let's come down where we can tie that in. Try not to tie it right by the very tip. These are fairly brittle and they can split and break, so let's secure that in. We'll trim off the excess there, and then just build a little thread base, tying that tip end in and some of those Antron fibers to about 3/4 up the hook shank. And now we can begin wrapping this biot, and we'll go over the top away from us and just carefully tying that down, building that nice segmented look there. Hackle pliers are helpful with this. I just like to use both fingers there to get a good hold of it there. Alright, once we've reached our spot there, let's just bring our thread over and secure that down with 2 or 3 good wraps. So we'll take one CDC feather here and just comb it down, pinch it down, and let's measure the tip end there about the length of the hook shank, and we're going to tie that down just about the 2/3 spot. Just carefully gather all those and tie those down. And then actually we're going to wrap forward just a ways and build a little section there where we can do hackle. Let's just trim off that CDC. Alright, so we're going to use some pre-sized Whiting Farm saddle hackle, and I like to prepare that hackle just by notching a little section there of the stem and holding that right against the hook shank, and then we can secure that hackle in there nice and clean. And then let's take our thread right behind the head there, and now we can wrap this hackle over the top away from us. About 4 turns. We'll hold our hackle straight up in the air and drop our thread over and tie that down 2 or 3 times. And now we can clip off the excess. Alright, to finish this fly off, let's pull everything back. Let's pull the CDC back, and let's build a little head just in front of the CDC, and that'll get that standing upright a little more.